Let's go to Joseph Williams. He's a former senior editor for US News and World Report. Joseph, good to see you again. We just had a broad brushstroke of major events that happened this year in the US. How would you describe 2023 in the US? What were some of the highs and lows for you?
Well, some of the highs were the fact that we actually did get a speaker in Congress, that there was some bipartisan movement politically on some hot button issues, and that the world is finally waking up to climate change. I mean, COP23, beg your pardon, came out, it emerged, the sessions emerged with perhaps one of the most significant climate agreements that we've had. We also have a fund for countries that are going to be dealing with climate change, some of the poor countries. Did it go far enough? Absolutely not. But is it a step in the right direction? Absolutely. So those were among the highlights. I mean, the lowlights are way too many to mention. Political division continues in the United States, gun violence, the Supreme Court decisions that are really, really unpopular. Hopefully this was not a prelude to 2024 and that we actually have some good things, some hopeful things to look for in the year to come.
Maybe we can break down the political events a little bit more closely. Of course, we saw chaos in a divided House. We're looking at a possible second round of Trump versus Biden. What do you think were the most sort of the biggest turning points politically this year?
I think one is what's mentioned in your correspondence report is the fact that Kevin McCarthy was ousted in early fall rather, after barely 11 months as Speaker. That's a big turning point because it demonstrates how tightly the Trumpism and the MAGA wing of the Republican Party, how much power they actually have. It's rare to dismiss a speaker. It's even rarer for that speaker to be dismissed by his own party. And to have that happen with Kevin McCarthy was really kind of a stunner, a slow-moving train wreck. But it also demonstrated how contentious the election is going to be in 2024, what hills that we have to climb in order to overcome this political division that seems intractable, and just how significant Donald Trump is as a historic political figure. Love him or hate him, you can't ignore the fact that he's had an indelible imprint on American politics.
And you did mention COP28. Yes, there were some positive signs there in terms of agreements, but it was a horrific year for climate, especially through the summer months. Of course, those unforgettable fires in Hawaii. Where do you think the US sort of sits in climate policy, and how is it looking in terms of climate change?
Well, I think the United States is finally waking up to the fact that climate change is absolutely here. It's not only on the doorstep, some would even argue it's inside the house. You look at the number of climate-related deaths that we've had in the United States, let alone the wildfires, the scorching hot days, the freezing nights that we had that dampened the electrical system in Texas a couple of years ago. It's undeniable that the United States is being affected by climate change. That said, the United States is also, the rank-and-file citizenry is also waking up to the fact that this is something they can no longer ignore. You have too many people having to rebuild. You have people checking twice to make sure that they're buying homes outside of a floodplain. And it's seeped into the American consciousness to the degree that electric car sales, while sort of on the rise, is kind of becoming an accepted fact of life and something that anybody with the means should be able to and would be able to do in order to help the planet.
All right, Joseph Williams, as always, thank you very much for your analysis.